Hey, Viola Rules here, and welcome back to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, Justice for All. So, we need to provide hard proof that we've unraveled the trick to this magic case, and hard proof and unraveled the trick are in orange. Like, do we literally need to unravel the trick? Because if that's true, then it's Max's promo poster, right? Because he's flying on it, and he mentioned that you can do the same trick with cables and wires. So I think that's what they're getting at. The problem is Max's three symbols. You know, the silk hat, the cloak, and the white roses. Those symbols were a problem numerous times during yesterday's proceedings. Yesterday, there were two contradictions in Mo's testimony. The silk hat was one, the white roses were the other. But the theory I just presented explains all of these contradictions. You fool! Do you ever shut up? Max's silk hat was found at the scene of the crime. However, remember what Mo said yesterday? He testified that the criminal he saw fleeing the scene was wearing a silk hat. There's only one explanation for that. The silk hat that Mo saw was actually the bust. Right, yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense. If you look at it that way, then he did see the silk hat. Well, sort of. Fine, you've got one, but what about the other contradiction? Oh, the other contradiction? Remember what that ventriloquist said in court? He said that he witnessed white roses on Max's chest that night. But the clown's testimony doesn't match. The clown said that there were no white roses. I'd like to see you try and explain that one away. Can you do it, Nick? Of course I can. Of course, I can explain all of it. What was that? Please recall the instance when the cloak snagged onto the bust. The cloak snagged onto the bust. What happened to the white roses? They were turned in a way that you couldn't see them. Do you get it yet? If the cloak got snagged onto the front of the bust, it means that the white roses would end up on the back of the bust. I mean, yeah, it's not that hard. Which explains why Mo didn't see it. The white roses were not visible because they were on the back side of the bust, which makes sense of why Acro said he did see the white roses. Order! Order! This is quite the shocking state of affairs. Mr. Wright's theory still sounds a bit absurd to me. However, let's just keep going down this road for a while and see where it leads. Let's do this, Nick. Maybe Von Karma will finally throw in the towel. I doubt it. Yep, there's that smirk. And Acro's still calm as ever. Well, so much for that theory. Mr. Wright, do you mind? What is it? You took the time to research our circus, didn't you? Well, yes, I did. Is there something making you think that I didn't? If you did, then maybe you'll understand why I think you're off track. Why is that? Motive. This witness feels an incredible debt of gratitude towards the ringmaster. Anyone with any relation to the circus is well aware of this. Yeah, that's why I have my theory that the ringmaster was not the target. Thus, there is absolutely no way someone like this would kill the ringmaster. That is true. Your Honor, I'd like you to hear Acro's story. Learn about his relationship with the ringmaster and his life up until now. What do we do? There's no doubting that Acro deeply respected the ringmaster. Acro's motive. It seems that this case isn't over yet. Very well. However, I feel this is a good place to take a break. I will listen to the rest of Mr. Dingling's testimony after recess. Okay. We'll see what the prosecution cooks up during the recess. This court will now take a 10-minute recess. To be continued. I always pause the video, like stop recording, right before the to be continued segments, every single time. But yeah, I still stand by my assertion that he meant to kill Regina, and the father took the blow for her. I can't believe it! Acro! It's pretty shocking, isn't it? It definitely is, and to think he was always the most straightforward of the group. Jeebus, unbelievable. Ahem. Acro tried to pin the murder on you on purpose. He did? I don't think he meant to do that. He was just circumstantial, I guess. Psst, psst. Okay, who's trying to get our attention right now? I'm guessing it's Mo. My, he's just a little twerp, isn't he? Well, that's one way to put it. Hey, pal. Oh, it's Gumshoe, actually. You're gonna ignore me after I went through all this trouble to bring you some evidence? Ah, Detective Gumshoe. Ah, forget it. I'm going home. This guy deserves to be guilty anyways. Now, Detective, I'm sorry. Now, why don't you relax a little? We've got some really tasty milk. How about a card trick, Detective? Well, if you insist. Now that evidence you mentioned, what is it? Here you go. Huh? This was yesterday in Acro's room. As a result of our investigation, you can look at it later. Won't Von Karma be mad that you're doing this? That's why this is all a secret. Huh? Look, details are on a need-to-know basis, and we're not really allies or anything. But everything that's happened in court up until now has gone according to our plan. Von Karma looked like she was in a pretty big hurry, though. You'll figure it out eventually, pal. Yesterday, our final plans were put into place. Final plans? Our? Who? That reminds me. I've got a message from the prosecutor for you. Judgment comes at the very last instant. That's it. And that's it for me too, pal. I'm going home. Okay, have a good day. What do you mean by that? The very last instant part? By prosecutor, he means Edgeworth, doesn't he? Everything he said seemed pretty cryptic to me. Oh, one more thing? Don't scare me like that. Looks like there's a large care package from the circus for the defendant. For me? It's milk. The reception area looks like some kind of dairy. So hurry up and drink it before it spoils. Like, what are people doing? Why? Like, I get he drinks milk to calm his nerves. Why is everybody sending him milk? An entire dairy's worth of milk? For me? Like, is the milk thing significant, or is it just a quirk? This court is now in session. Shall we continue our proceedings? Ms. Von Karma, please continue from where you left off. Or is it to try and show that the circus, that they do care about him, despite their resentment of his attitude? I'd like to continue with Acro's testimony, starting with his relationship to the victim. I'd also like to get proof from the defense. Proof of what kind of motive Acro would have to commit this crime. Well, luckily Gumshoe just gave it to us. Understood. Now, Mr. Dingling. Yes, Your Honor? Please proceed with your testimony. Finally, we get to the motive. Wait, Nick, are you okay? Just do me a favor and don't ask questions you don't want the answer to. I guess he just figured out the last instant thing. That was from Edgeworth. When we were little, we were abandoned by our parents. That's when the ringmaster of Big Berry Circus, Russell Berry, took us in. I became an acrobat at around 9 years old. I wanted to find a way to repay the ringmaster. That was my sole purpose in life. You're such a thoughtful young man. As you heard, the witness deeply respected the victim. I wonder how anyone could think that Acro could kill the man he held in such esteem. You're absolutely right. How could anyone think that, Mr. Wright? Which is why there's no real need for a cross-examination, is there? Of course there is. Actually, that's the question I'm trying to answer myself. Why would Acro kill the ringmaster? This might be my last chance to answer that question. Of course I'll cross-examine. The defense has a right to cross-examine the witness. You're so tactless, Mr. Phoenix Wright. You don't care about justice, do you? You just want to fabricate a motive. Very well, Mr. Wright. Cross-examine the witness. Okay, let's do this. So, first things first, abandoned by your parents. We? Yes, my brother Sean and I. What? You have a brother? How old were you when this happened, Acro? I was 8 years old and my brother was 4. Your parents were very cruel, weren't they? Nowadays, we aren't bitter about what happened to us, because it allowed us to meet the wonderful people at the Big Berry Circus. Nick, the judge is getting misty-eyed. He's got a soft spot for sob stories, it looks like. Ow! There's no crying in court. Let's keep going. The witness may proceed with his testimony. That's when the ringmaster of the Big Berry Circus took you in. How would you describe your relationship with the ringmaster? He was like an uncle, a father, and a big brother all rolled up into one. The ringmaster and my brother were the only family I had. What about the other people at the circus? This was over 15 years ago. Back then, there were very few customers coming in, so no one really had the time to look after us. They were worried about other things. But the ringmaster, he would always come see us with a smile and a laugh. What a beautiful story. That's why I was always thinking of what I could do to help. I wanted to thank him. Nick, isn't Acro such a wonderful person? I know, he seems like a nice guy, which is what makes this so difficult. So then, how long have you been a performer? Became an acrobat at the age of 9. You started off as an acrobat at that early of an age? I begged the ringmaster until he finally agreed to let me do it. Ever since then, I've been in incredible physical shape. That's also when I decided to form a group with my brother. We called ourselves the Flying Dingling Berries. It's nearly a household name. I've even heard of them in Germany. Liar. The point is that I wanted to be of some use to the circus. You are truly a remarkable young man. The judge keeps looking at Acro almost like a proud father. Okay, now what? I wanted to find a way to repay the ringmaster. Did you ever have any trouble with the ringmaster? How could you ask such a thing, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Do you have some sort of fundamental misunderstanding of this witness's testimony? Or the heartfelt emotions contained within? You better think about this, Mr. Phoenix Wright. You better think hard. Okay, please. No matter how you look at it, there's no way I could see this witness ever taking the victim's life. Exactly. I've been waiting for you to say that, Your Honor. Nick, I hate to say it, but I agree with them. I was trying to chase down the truth, but I ended up just looking like a jerk. I think that will be enough for now. Pondering whether or not this witness would kill the ringmaster leads me to believe that is pretty much unlikely. Exactly right, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, I'd like to ask you a question. Go ahead, Your Honor. What was Acro's motive for killing the ringmaster? How about it? Can you explain that to me? I think I should keep that scarf in my back pocket for now. Nick? Yeah, I didn't even have time to think about it. It was obvious from the start. Your Honor, the reason that Acro killed the ringmaster is something that can't be proven. What? That's because Acro had no reason to kill the ringmaster at all. Yeah, like I was saying, wrong target. Your foolish attempts to fool us like foolish fools is so foolhardily foolish. Did you forget you made an accusation against this witness, did you not? I believe it was, this is the real killer of Russell Berry, ringmaster. If you want to jump to the end of things, then yes, that sounds about right. The end of things? Acro, you didn't plan to kill the Ringmaster at all, did you? The Ringmaster wasn't your target that night. What did you just say? I'm saying that the target of this witness's murder plot was not the Ringmaster. He did not plan to kill Russell Berry. What? Order! Order! Bailiff, I don't care who it is. Smack anyone who's loud in the face, twice if you must. Mr. Wright, what in the world are you trying to do in my court? Mr. Phoenix Wright, what in the world are you trying to do in his court? Are you attempting to imply that Acro was trying to kill someone else? Yes, he was trying to kill Regina. Regina Berry? This young girl is the Ringmaster's daughter, correct? Acro, you were really aiming for her that night, weren't you? You don't need to answer that. It's a mean-spirited leading question. He could easily answer this question. If I'm wrong, all he has to say is, you're wrong, that's it. That's it, huh, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Enough, Mr. Wright, allow me to. The only thing allowed to interrupt me is death itself! Huh? And that goes for you too, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Show me evidence, now! I want to know why Acro would want to kill Regina Berry. Yes, me too. I demand to see some proof. Present evidence that proves Acro was out to kill this young girl. And I believe at this point I should present the note. Yeah, because that makes the most sense. Acro, do you have any recollection of seeing this? It's a piece of paper that we found inside the Ringmaster's tailcoat. Inside the victim's tailcoat? Acro wrote this note. It's ironically entitled, To the Murderer. Its purpose was to call someone to the plaza at 10 p.m. So you're saying that he called Russell Berry with that note? There's just one little problem. Problem? Acro did indeed place this note into someone's pocket. However, that someone was not the Ringmaster. You mean it wasn't for the... That's exactly what I mean. The person this note was intended for was none other than Regina Berry. Order! 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 Mr. Wright, this little theory of yours. It's the truth, Your Honor. It isn't a theory. Simply put, Regina didn't think the note was meant for her. Which is why, the morning of the crime, she placed it on the cafeteria bulletin board. That's when her father, the Ringmaster, read the note? Exactly. That's correct. The Ringmaster ended up in the plaza instead of Regina. And he was killed because of that mistake, instead of Regina. That's incredible! Remember the testimony that Acro gave us earlier today? Lifting the bust and looking out of the window would have been impossible. There's no way I could have exerted that kind of force on my lower body. If I were to do that, I'd end up falling out the window myself. Acro had no idea who it was that arrived in the plaza, because he couldn't look down out of his window to see who it actually was. I've got it! Acro thought it was Regina down in the plaza. And that's when he let the bust fly. Hey, Nick, isn't Regina listening to all this from the audience? Yes, and I hope her ears are open. She is. Unfortunately, it's only going to get harsher from here, and hopefully she gets it, too, because she's kind of an airhead. I hope Regina can handle it. Acro wrote this note to Regina? Foolishly foolish fool with foolishly foolish fool ideas of foolishly tomfoolery. You're so foolish you've even made me sound foolhardily fool. Very well, Mr. Wright. If you're so sure, then tell us about this line. I have conclusive evidence of what took place. That's a line in the note, all right. Well, then, if the note was sent to Regina Berry, it must mean that this note is declaring that Regina Berry is a murderer. You just don't get it, do you? What? What did you just say? The ringmaster knew what the note meant, which is why he went to the plaza, in place of his lovely daughter. Yeah, he sacrificed himself for her. Oh, hold it right there, Mr. Wright. What is this incident that is alluded to in the note? The incident 6 months ago. I have no idea. I know all about it. I know all about it, obviously. An incident occurred 6 months ago, and now I am more than ready to show this court what happened at that time. Moron. Wait, are you sure that it relates to the present case? It does indeed, Your Honor. Everything in this case has its start in what happened 6 months ago. Really, Nick? I think so. Well then, if that's the case, hurry up and tell us about it. What is this conclusive evidence mentioned in the note? I know I'd certainly like to know what it is. If I can't answer that question, the judge is going to think I'm bluffing. The conclusive evidence about the incident 6 months ago is actually, I'm guessing that's the scarf that we got. Wait. Like, I really want to present the scarf. Actually, can I see what note is attached to this? Bad scarf, stained with his blood and a small quantity of pepper. Okay, I have to actually link the pepper to this case then first, before I do that, because if I just present the scarf, Von Karma's going to snatch it for one, but still. Hunched over, contains pepper, so yeah. Ah, too! Why would you sniff it? Von Karma would. What kind of spicy joke is this, Mr. Phoenix Wright? It isn't a joke at all. It's the decisive evidence you asked for. Well, what do you mean? The victim would arrive and try to take away the wooden box. That's when they discovered the decisive evidence inside. Another unbelievable conclusion! Very well, Mr. Wright, so what exactly are you saying? Are you claiming Regina Berry killed someone with a small bottle of pepper? Taking the note into account, that's the only logical conclusion you can draw. Foolish fool who never tires of his own foolish ways. If you're so sure, Mr. Phoenix Wright, then answer this question. Who was Regina Berry's intended victim? It was Bat. Who is this? That is Acro's younger brother. What does this prove? His younger brother isn't dead. Technically, that's true. However, Bat has been in a coma for 6 months now. It's not a stretch to see how Acro could feel that his brother is dead. Regina, she did that to him? Do you spend your entire life dreaming up new ways to be a fool? Naturally, the prosecution has looked into Acro's brother, Sean Dingling. 6 months ago, he was bit by a lion and fell into his current comatose state. A lion? Miss Regina Berry is an animal tamer by trade. However, no tamed animal in that position is ever tamed to attack another human. They wouldn't understand the command. Moreover, Miss Regina could never do something like that. It's just not in her. Who are you to say that? You don't know Regina. So then, what happened to Acro's brother? He's not the victim of an attempted murder, he's the victim of an accident. I see. Now what do we do? No one seems to be going along with your theory. Do you think that what happened to Bat was actually an accident? It was more than that. It was an accident, but there was motive behind the accident, I feel. The lion-biting Bat was no accident at all. Okay, never mind. Forget what I just said. What? You're such an amateur, Mr. Phoenix Wright. There's no way that Regina would ever incite her lion to attack another being. Human being. She may not have incited the lion to attack another human being. And Regina is responsible for making the lion bite Acro's brother Bat. Because of the scarf. I think I finally get to use that now. That's just a scarf. Acro, this scarf is something that Bat used to wear, correct? That's right. And who was the one that gave this scarf to Bat? Regina. Regina gave it to him. Regina? There is something more than just blood on this scarf, Your Honor. And what might that be? Pepper. Pepper? Pepper. Regina gave the scarf to Bat right before the accident, and she covered it with as much pepper as she could. I really like these moments of silence in this arc, huh? Hey, what's with the silent treatment? Excuse me, Mr. Wright? You've done a good job of fingering a criminal, but out of curiosity, what was her crime? Regina gave a pepper-covered scarf to Bat as a present. Where is the crime in that? It still seems like the judge just doesn't get it. Mr. Phoenix Wright, wasn't it said that the lion seemed to be smiling? Smiling? The lion was smiling? Right before Bat was bit by the lion. For a moment, the lion's mouth changed and it looked like he was smiling. Lions smile? I've never heard of them smiling. However, lions sneeze. Whoa. Leon didn't plan on biting Bat at all. In reality, all he actually did was sneeze. He sneezed because of all the pepper spread on the scarf. What? You fool! Yeah, Regina did that on purpose, for some reason. You've got to be kidding me! What now? Okay, apparently she's just stunned. What's the matter, Miss Von Karma? I object! For objection's sake! Mr. Phoenix Wright, this theory, you believe it? You really plan to say this joke of an accident actually happened? Of course I do, it's the truth. The lion sneezed due to the pepper, and that's when Bat lost consciousness. Acro nearly lost his brother due to this accident, or this joke, as he put it. Which is why he tried to get his revenge against Regina. You foolish idiot! So, it's a joke of an accident to you, huh? Once again, I'm impressed by your imagination, Mr. Wright. What do we do? To think that there's someone who treats this accident with the respect it deserves. Are you telling me that what I said was true? Acro, you can't mean witness. Are you confirming the defense's claim? Mr. Wright, unfortunately, your imagination is not enough to find me guilty of murder. What do you mean by that? The pepper, the scarf, the lion. I see where you're going, but it's a bit hard to swallow. Not to mention the fact that there's an even bigger problem with your theory. Well, what would that problem be? The same problem it's always been, evidence. If I dropped Max's bust on top of the ringmaster, where is the evidence that proves that claim? Ooh, good point. We don't have that, do we? You mean the conclusive evidence? The biggest problem is the murder weapon, or the lack thereof, to be more precise. Murder weapon. The bust that the defense claims was used. If that were to be found in Acro's room, and if it was covered with the victim's blood, that would be awfully conclusive in my eyes. Yes, it would be. The bust. Nick, you've got to do something. This is the last step. If I get this one right, the case is won. See how things work out? Or request to search Acro's room. I think I should request to search Acro's room, or... Well, no, because Acro would be smart enough to have his monkey get rid of it, right? You know the monkey hoards shiny objects, but it also takes orders, right? Let's see how things play out first. It might be worthwhile to search Acro's room, but... Why aren't you going to search his room? It looks like you finally figured things out, didn't you? Now you know the true meaning of Von Karma Total Justice. I guess. I figured with you, that's the least I should expect. You'd leave no stone unturned. A Von Karma never leaves anything to chance. We've already searched Acro's room yesterday. What did you find? There's no reason to even say it. If we found what you think we found in that room, Acro would not be here as a witness. But to put a point on it, Max's bust was not in the room. The murder weapon is still unaccounted for. You see, Mr. Wright, the bust wasn't in my room. Furthermore, Detective Dick Gumshoe executed the search by complete surprise. And we took Acro directly to the prosecutor's office after that. End of story. Just wait a second. Something's funny about all this. Gumshoe initiated the search? Yeah, because Gumshoe did say that their plan was coming to fruition. Is he working with Edgeworth to tarnish Von Karma's name or something? It looks like the coup de grace in this case was ever so sweet. But what about the scarf? What about the note? What about them? Mr. Wright, no offense, but the most important evidence here is about the death of the ringmaster. I think you should remember that. Ugh. Do something, Nick. Don't let this case slip away. The bust, where is it now? Where is the bust now? You're Phoenix, right? You know where that bust is. I'm sure you do. There's not even a single clue. How am I supposed to know where the bust is? It seems that this case is coming to a close. The defense's counter-arguments look to have fallen short. Uh-oh. Thank you for your support. Now, if you please excuse me, Mr. Wright. I think that brings to an end the cross-examination of this witness. You have an interruption from someone. Where is Max's bust? The defense needs time to prepare to present its case. Sorry, I'm a bit nervous and I just bit my tongue. Huh? What? We need time to do what? Why are you the most surprised person here? She's your aide, isn't she? Do you really have a case to present, Mr. Wright? We could if we had one more day. What? Is he talking to me? The rest is up to you, Nick. Good luck. Hey, wait. You can't be serious. Acrobats always have their lives on the line, don't they? That's how Acros lived up until now. Now it's time for us to walk across our own tightrope. If we don't, we're certain to lose. Good point. Very well, the defense may proceed. He doesn't have a clue. I don't think he'll be finding one anytime soon. Walking the tightrope of logic, there's no room for a false step. Sink or swim. The only way through is forward. The murder weapon. Where is Max's bust now? Somewhere in the lodging house, somewhere in the big top, somewhere in this courtroom. But actually, I'm going to leave this episode here, and I'll answer this in the next one. If you guys enjoyed this one, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys next time.